welcome to the MMA Freak Friday of the Week. I'm Matt Salzer. So this week we are going to go over the 3 title fights for UFC 259, and then we're going to go over the main event for UFC Fight Night Edwards versus Mohammed, or UFC Fight Night 187. So in the main event of UFC 259, you had Jan Blachowicz actually pull off a decision win against Israel Adesanya. I was not expecting this. I was honestly expecting Adesanya to become a champ, but that didn't happen, and that's because Blachowicz was a little bit more strategic, and I feel like Adesanya was a little bit more tentative in this fight. He wasn't going full on the way he was. And another thing to note is that we also got to see exactly what kind of a fighter Adesanya is in terms of how much weight he's cutting. He weighed in at 200 pounds, so we can obviously assume that that's probably his natural walk-around weight, and honestly, that's a little bit light for a lot of middleweights. I know that Chris Weidman, Luke Rockhold, and Ronaldo Jacare Souza, the reason why those guys tried moving up to light heavyweight is because they were cutting a considerable amount of weight as it was, so they wanted to see if they could actually test the grounds of light heavyweight and see if maybe they could make a run for it. Obviously, no, they're big middleweights, and that's their advantage. They're not really big at light heavyweight. So Adesanya is one of those exceptions to the rule, because I've known of several fighters who walk around at 200 pounds and end up fighting as welterweights, which is insane when you consider guys like Anthony Johnson. They were cutting huge amounts of weight in order to get down to welterweight. He walked around well over 200 pounds. And when you saw him as a light heavyweight, that one time also that he fought as a heavyweight, he weighed in at 230. Again, that's insane. But it'll be interesting to see where we go from here in terms of Adesanya, at least, because it has been shown that he is beatable. He can be defeated. There's just a certain strategy to do. The question is, are there any middleweights who actually have the strategy to be able to do that? We're just gonna have to wait and see in the future. And as for Jan Blachowicz, well, we know that he can definitely defend the title. He just defended the title, so we'll just see where things progress from here. So that was the light heavyweight championship. Then in the women's featherweight championship, you had Amanda Nunes defending the title against Megan Anderson, and she finished her in the first round via submission. And it just goes to show Amanda Nunes does have a submission game. I kind of knew that already. She did have a wrestling game. She did that against Jermaine Durandamy, but this just goes to show that even against a solid featherweight, Megan Anderson walks around at 6 foot. She's not a small woman. Honestly, this is not a surprise, but it is a little unexpected in terms of it ending that early. But then again, this is Amanda Nunes, who finished Cyborg in the first round, so maybe not so surprising. And also note is that Megan Anderson is now a free agent. This was the last fight on her contract, which means that if she had won the title, the championship clause automatically would have kicked in, and they would have had to figure out how to do things in terms of signing her to another contract, because the way championship clauses work is that you automatically get a 1-fight extension on your contract, because that championship clause, it's a way of keeping fighters from leaving the organization and as champion. And then we had the rather disappointing ending in the Bantamweight Championship, where Aljamain Sterling won via disqualification against Petr Yan. Now, let's be honest, Petr Yan was winning the fight. He had the stand-up, he had to take down the fence. There were a few times when Sterling did get takedowns and a small amount of ground and pound, but it wasn't enough to be up on the scorecards. I and most other people had Yan winning that fight, which was unfortunate that he blatantly... there was no question about it. Even with the new unified rules, a knee down is a down fighter. That's how it is. I mean, that rule of a 3-point stance, that's supposed to be your feet and one arm, not a knee. You know, if we were in another jurisdiction, the fight would have been over and Yan would have been the champion, but we were not in the jurisdiction. We were in Nevada. We're in unified rules, United States of America area. It's very unfortunate. I'd imagine that they're going to run this again, and Yan will be sure not to do an illegal knee. It was unfortunate, because most likely Yan, if he just kept going the way he was, he would have won. But it's unfortunate when you see it go that way. Yan was disappointed, and Sterling was disappointed, because Sterling didn't want to win. You saw it in him. He didn't want to win the fight that way. But that's just unfortunately how the cookie crumbles. That was UFC 259 this last weekend. We are now going to preview UFC Fight Night Edwards versus Mohammed, or UFC Fight Night 187, with the main event being up-and-comers Leon Edwards, who's really been more of a perennial contender, not so much an up-and-comer, but his opponent Belal Muhammad is an up-and-comer. And of note with up-and-comers, this was originally supposed to be Khamzat Chimaev fighting Leon Edwards, tentatively for the next title shot. Unfortunately, COVID just did him in. It's sad to see a fighter struck down in his prime like that. Maybe give it a few years, he'll be able to recover and maybe he can return to fighting, but that's just how the cookie crumbles, and we'll have to see. Now, granted, of course, Chimaev didn't definitely say he's done. He just said he might be done, which means that for the time being, he's probably not going to fight. Maybe give it some time. But it's just unfortunate, yeah, to see him go down like this. But that, of course, leaves the opportunity for Belal Muhammad, who's very much healthy, very much an up-and-comer, been getting several wins lately, and is definitely looking like a contender. I would say that the winner of this fight, because of all the fighters that Kamaru Usman has defeated as of late, will probably be the next title contender. Leon Edwards has not gotten a shot at the title. Belal Muhammad is an up-and-comer. I really do think the winner of this fight is going to get the next title shot at welterweight. Also get an opportunity for maybe some of the other longer-standing guys who maybe haven't gotten wins as of late to a contender fight, and then they'd get the next crack in line after this. But this is definitely significant in the welterweight division. So that's it. Thank you very much. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment down below what you thought of both UFC 259 and the upcoming UFC Fight Night 187. Be sure to follow us at MMA Freakout on Twitter. Be sure to follow me on both my Twitter and my Instagram at Matthew Salzer. Be sure to check out MMA-freak.com for exclusive content. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.